Because it's a Monday and we feel like being funny and laughing and cheering you up. What is the most embarrassing thing that you've done in public? It's a classic question, I know, but we need it. If you share your story, we'll share ours. Or
yeah, we're gonna wait.
versa.
Yeah, you share first. But no, I mean, holy cow, my life is almost a giant embarrassing moment in public.
Everyone's is.
My wife is like, oh my gosh, please, we're going out into public. What is he going to do? Please don't do anything embarrassing.
Do you remember the time, it was when I first started working here, I remember, and it was the beginning of the pandemic when everybody was untouchable and unclean.
Right.
You remember? And I went to Starbucks. I remember thinking it was such a brave move. They had taken all the tables off, and I had gotten a bunch of different things, and I was fumbling, and I spilled hot burn your skin off coffee all over my body and my clothes, and no one helped me.
Well, how did that happen?
I can't remember exactly.
Opening the door?
I was opening the door, I think, as I was headed out. And nobody, because you couldn't touch anybody, you couldn't breathe on anybody.
So there were plenty of people around. Nobody stepped forward with a napkin or helped or anything.
I remember I got in the car, like with burning skin.
Oh, poor Amanda.
No, what just happened? It was the worst experience. That was very embarrassing.
I'm sorry.
Or then there's the accidental honking.
Yes, that's a classic.
Honking?
Right. Tell that story.
I was very excited because Orange Theory had opened back up after the pandemic. I'm like, I am just pumped. I love working out at Orange Theory because it's like intense and they play, it's my speed, right? Mm-hmm. And they play intense music and you're all pumped after a workout. And I had gone to the one in Midtown right by our studios. And so I was on the on-ramp over there. And there's one of those, what do you call those cameras? The traffic flow cameras?
Yeah.
You wait at the traffic flow, goes green, that you can get on I-80. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there and I was listening to one of the songs that was in the workout. I think it was Prince. Yeah, that Prince, don't wait extra time in your kiss. I was listening to that song and I was rocking out in my car and I accidentally honked at the guy in front of me at that traffic flow thing and the light was red and he was so mad because he thought I was honking at him.
Oh man.
And he started giving me all kinds of fingers and signs and I didn't have like a sign to be like, no, it was an accident. I'm sorry. Like, you're totally fine. I just had a really great workout and was listening to Prince and I'm so sorry.
That's a tough one because if you wave or something, it's like, whoa, what do you want? I was going as fast as I can. That's tough. I think a lot of people have experienced that where you're accidentally honking at a traffic light and you're like, sorry
for my accidental honking.
Yeah, maybe it's this. Sorry.
Yeah. Or it's like peace, love, peace and love. I don't know what we need an undo honking signal.
I had an embarrassing moment where I'm taking classes at Jessup via Zoom. Online, right?
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to be a little bit late because I was doing some on-air stuff here at the station. So I logged into my Zoom account and I had thought I had put the mic on mute, but I had not. What? So I did like 10 minutes at least of doing the on-air show that I was doing that afternoon. And the Zoom was still on. So in front of the entire class, I had that ongoing. And I don't know if you have the ability to mute somebody, but apparently they weren't. And I was getting texts and everybody was like, Matt, we can hear you, Matt. And I was like, oh my gosh. So they heard everything.
You got caught multitasking on a Zoom class.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I didn't get in trouble. They thought it was interesting. Oh, Matt's, doing his show and blah, blah, blah. But they were like, I'm like, oh my gosh, why is my phone blowing up with all these texts? Matt, you're on the air.
Oh, what about you?
But it wasn't bad.
I want to hear your embarrassing moments. We had, we're going to talk about this on the show tomorrow. By the way, we like to do this thing called Question of the Day. So that's the question of the day. What are your embarrassing moments? Because I was remembering a time, I'm checking to see the comments. I remembered a time when I was teaching my son, Andy, who's 13 now. He'll die. I'll tell you the story. This will be his most embarrassing moment, is his mom telling it. But I was teaching him how to be a gentleman. And
he's 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember. No, he must have been 5-ish.
Okay.
And I said, your job is to open the door for your mother and your 2 sisters wherever we go. And, he took that seriously. And like, it was a thing of pride for him.
That's cool.
That he was taking care of it. Now, he doesn't care about anybody else, but at 13, but he would do that. And so we went to the Galleria Mall in Roseville, and we were walking into Nordstrom, and there was somebody in front of us that beat him to it and opened up the door. And at the nicest store in town, he decided to fall down and have a full-on temper tantrum meltdown, screaming at a stranger, telling them that that person had stolen his job.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
That was very delightful.
And you're like apologizing. Sorry, he's not my kid.
Like,
he's adopted.
No, I don't remember. I think I got mad. I think I probably pulled him off by his arm and be like, stop. I don't think we went to the store that day.
It's tough because you feel like, man, his behavior reflects on you. Like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing.
I know.
It's tough. Sometimes I've experienced that, and I just kind of stand back and let my kids go. I'm like, all right,
Do you really?
Yeah. I'm like, they get it. Hey, go ahead.
I'm out.
Sometimes, though, I'm like you, I pull them up. It's like, we're gone. We're done. We're out.
They're not.
Let's go.
Yeah. No.
Most of my kids don't do that, though. They just get into a mood. They get depressed and they get down. And Ruby just goes like this. And just walks away. And I'm like, okay, whatever. That's better than throwing a tantrum. Go ahead. And I remember Noah, when he was little, we had to go. He would go out into the middle of the mall and just lay out right on the floor. Just lay out there. Just laying out. Like, I don't want to go. Whatever. He wouldn't throw a tantrum, but he would just lay down. And then I would just sit there, and people would walk by and they go, whose kid is this? I'm like, mine. I'm like, whatever. They're like just stepping over him and everything.
This feels therapeutic to talk about all this stuff that we're not. I just thought of another one.
I have so many. Like I said, I could write a 2-volume book of this. We used to have our water dispenser in the kitchen. Used to be one of those like Alhambra ones.
Oh, where you put the big thing in.
And I remember I love changing those bottles. One time I tried to change the bottle, and I dropped it. And it like busted, and water went everywhere down the hallway. Like, it just left this giant water stain.
That was like the day after they cleaned our carpets in the hallway, and I spilled all that yogurt.
Oh, yes. I still think there's still yogurt stains out there. I don't know if that's ever been cleaned up or not.
Stains. We're an absolute disaster. Here's one. What I feel like I'm blaming my kids. I'm really not. It's just that's my life, is being a mother. But my son got in some trouble at school, and I was in the principal's office with him. And of course, as we're leaving the principal's office, his eyes are a little red. We're like, okay, we've been through this. And, of course, that would be the place that then also waiting in the waiting room of the school would be the one mom that you've always considered as being the perfect, most beautiful, most have everything together, most talented Christian woman, and best homemaker on the planet.
Right.
Sitting in that seat that I know from soccer. And she's like, oh, hi. I was like, hi. She goes, how's it going? Well, I'm like, no, of all people.
But you know what? I think people, when you see something embarrassing out in public, when you see somebody do something, most people, we should understand that, are not like poking fun, like, look at that bozo.
Empathy.
Most people have empathy, like, oh, that's a shame, or that's a bummer. And except in my situation. It's like, oh, great, Matt. Now we have to clean up your mess.
No, nobody says that. Okay, so how do you respond better in that situation? Because when I was at the mall with my kids yesterday, we were at the Galleria shopping, and I had a flashback because I saw another mom, and she was pulling a wagon through the store with their kids. I'm like, that's smart. Why didn't I ever think about that? Like the soccer wagon,
Right.
But one of her kids was screaming bloody murder. I mean, and this mom was dressed to the nines. I got to tell you, I was like, wow, look at her outfit. I wanted to say something like, you've got it together, even though I wanted to almost go, because I could tell that she was stressed.
Right.
That her kid was screaming in the mall. And I wanted to go up to her and be like, girl, it's okay. You look really good today. And I've been there, and I'm not judging you.
She looked distressed.
Yes, she was frustrated. Is there anything a fellow mom can say in that moment
I think.
Or do you just ignore it? I just felt like I didn't have a chance to go up to her and be like, hey, this doesn't, like, I've been there. Like, you're doing a good job.
I love that you thought of that. That you thought about doing it, but didn't do it, because I think you should have.
Really?
Because you've been in that situation. Imagine how you would have felt.
I would have felt
if some
better,
mom
probably.
just came and gave you a little pat on the back, doing great.
Yeah.
Just something super simple like that.
I probably should have.
Unless she thought you were being sarcastic. Doing
I
great
didn't
there,
know
Mom.
her. No, I didn't. You're right. You
can't
gotta act on those instincts.
You got to. You can't do anything grand in the situation, because usually it won't work. Like if you try to console the kid or give him a sucker or something, that usually doesn't work. It's just a matter of, hey, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Hey, we've all been there.
You're doing good.
Doing good. We've all been there. I think moms appreciate that big time, for sure.
Because none of us ever feel like we're doing a good job.
Right, exactly. My wife, absolutely. I think that's the one thing moms, more than that, but that have in common. For some reason, it's a struggle to feel like you're always doing a great job. But you are for sure. And we're going to do a topic on that probably Wednesday about the importance of making sure moms feel that they are doing a great job, because it's a common insecurity in moms that we want to address.
You know what?
Right?
You're right. Because when
notes.
someone has said that to me, because I raised my kids by myself and I didn't have that partner even at the end of the day when I was frustrated to be like, hey, but good job. And I'll never forget crying almost in the baseball field one time when one of the coaches said, hey, I see you out here with your son and I just want to say you're a good mom. I'm like, okay, don't cry in front of this guy.
I love that. That's hilarious.
Don't hug him because you know his wife. But at that moment, I was like, oh, thank you.
That's so funny.
We should make more of an effort.
I got it right here.
Something.
We're supposed to talk about that this week. Moms always need to be told.
Would you show the Fish audience your very professional show prep book and planning page?
Some of this, yeah.
That's how we plan our show.
Yeah, this is it.
But here's mine. Do you see?
Yeah.
The difference between.
That's funny.
That
like shit tells a lot.
Each one works well.
Hey, I'm a fly by your seat of the pants kind of guy.
That's why he's so great. That's why he's so amazing.
No. My wife tells me it's like herding cats with this guy. So it works both ways sometimes.
I just like it. We would love to share your stories on the show tomorrow. If you want to put them in the comments, if you're brave enough. It just feels good to share. It feels good to laugh. It feels good to give each other empathy. That's what we're all about. We'd love for you to join us on the show tomorrow. And don't forget to enter the Christmas Mortgage Miracle. This is real. This is a chance that you have for us to pay your mortgage for an entire year.
Or rent. If you're renting,
yeah.
you get to enter to win too. You can enter at thefishsacramento.com. And you can enter every day. The more you enter, the better chance you have of winning.
Awesome. So go. Hit it up. All right. Thank you. Have a